Cultural appropriation. I mean, you can't ignore that discussion. It often pops up in the media.
Today I'm heading to Amsterdam, so I need to get ready. Okay guys, I'm ready to go. I'm heading towards an African fashion event, so I'm super excited. It's in Amsterdam, so I've never been there before, so I'm super curious on what I'm going to see and the vibe, everything. So let's go. Wearing the new coat. Ooh, and this is, by the way, my early Christmas present to myself. Tell you all about it later or in the next vlog, but I have to go catch my train.
Africa, fashion from Africa, for a lot of people, for a lot of fashionistas here in Europe, is they struggle with it. Now, I've had people come up to me at fashion events in London and be like, oh yes, I like this. It's so ethnic, so Lion King, rah, yeah, lovely. And then you try and explain, and then you give them some examples of some great fashion labels from Africa, fashion from Africa in general, and they cut you off, they stop you, and they're, oh yeah, I know. Oh, I know. Africa is such a great concept, right? Isn't it just? But okay, before we kick off this onderdeel, this bit of the evening, before you guys go and explore the exhibition itself, we have a panel discussion, but I'm going to invite the director of the museum onto the stage to say a few words. So please give a warm round of applause for Stijn Schoonderwouw. Oh, I just murdered his name, I apologize. I saw it on your face, I'm sorry.
Want het nieuws vanochtend dat onze burgemeester, Eberhard van der Laan, gisteren is overleden, kwam hard aan. We waren erop voorbereid, maar jongens, wat verdrietig en wat een verlies voor deze stad. Maken. We weten te weinig van elkaars culturen. We weten niet genoeg wat andere mensen bezighoudt. En daar, en hij stak zijn priemende vinger naar mij uit, daar hebben jullie een functie. Dat is wat jullie moeten doen met het Tropenmuseum. Mensen verbinden. We moeten vandaag wel bij elkaar komen. Want we zijn hier vanuit diezelfde gedachte om meer van elkaar te leren, elkaar beter te leren begrijpen. Deze opening is eigenlijk ook een hommage en we dragen het op aan Eberhard van der Laan. Een bijzondere man, een fantastische burgemeester. En we zullen altijd blijven doen wat hij van ons verwacht. UK. And I would like to thank our wonderful colleagues from Brighton, as well as researchers Hannah Poole and Helen Jennings, for the wonderful collaboration.
Unfortunately, none of them could attend this evening, but we've got some people we found at the last minute. Come on, guys. Tease it.
Don't be that loud.
Tease it.
by all means wear print, rock print, but don't think print is the only thing when it comes to African fashion, and also don't think print is relevant in every part of the continent. You know, and different prints mean different things in different places. You know, a print that's big in West Africa will never be worn perhaps in Southern Africa, or you know. So I think it's about making sure that you don't reduce the fashion of an entire continent to one thing.
Yeah. What about this discussion about cultural appropriation? I mean, you can't ignore that discussion. It often pops up in the media. So when does enthusiasm for the fashion of a local culture become cultural appropriation?
Well, I mean, yeah, I have followed all of that trend, and even in architecture, there are questions around cultural appropriation. I think it's an interesting thing to appropriate other people's culture. I think we need to embrace that because it means it's something useful. Now, where it becomes problematic might be on questions of credits, you know, giving recognition for the sources of the information. But we want to spread our culture. We want to be diverse. We want to integrate. We want to make sure people feel like they belong.
And relation to you. So first you have to get to know yourself. Where you come from.
We love you, Kareem. We love you.
Love you too. So first you have to, you know, it's your unique identity. So you have to go deep into it. You have to endure your roots to become that.
Okay, here first, then you. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's going to be a loaded question. So you talked about the white designer with problematic past just a second before. So even in his last fashion week, he also appropriated, or he also was inspired with like some African fashion. So my question is, I think appropriation is actually more than just recognition. It should be about the power, so it should be also about like people working within the team of the designer, the stylist, the creative director.
So you want more diversity, you think?
Yeah. Or do you think it would take it too far? Because if it's like a white person styling the models, it might create more like a different perspective of the art or of the piece of
So is your question, should there be more diversity, not just on the...
Or should it just be
Okay. Okay. Do we need more diversity in the big fashion houses? I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, but again, exactly. I mean, what you end up seeing sometimes are these designers who are inspired by the continent, you know, roll out a collection allegedly inspired by the continent, and yet suddenly and still there are no black models, or there's one black model. So again, you know, and then the next week they're inspired by some other area. So the whole thing to me is, I get sort of anxious when I hear a white designer is doing a collection that's inspired by the continent. They don't always get it wrong, but so far they don't get it right.
I mean, Kanye does that as well.
Hey?
Kanye's as black as they come, and he messes up.
Kanye gets a pass.
Kanye.
awakens the senses, enabling one to translate the frequency of energy released. Search for the truth within, to reconnect with all. Know that the truth can be mind-blowing.
So good. So yeah, there was like a very interesting and fun event. So I decided to go to the African fashion event in the Tropical Museum in Amsterdam, because it was like the opening of, or kind of the launch of Black Achievement Month in the Netherlands. So yeah, so I decided to go to the event all by myself. And you know, so I just took the train, you know, got myself dressed first, of course, and then I arrived at the event, and you know, it felt all safe and comfortable. Thinking, I don't know if that was the universe like protecting me, or my guardian angel, because she had put me like, I don't know if I was like getting protected by my guardian angel or the universe, but I really was like getting connected with the type of people that I want to get connected with, you know, with the same way of thinking, you know, because it was like, of course, it was like a African fashion event. So you had like people who were like, you know, all about justice, all about, you know, fair treatment for everybody. And so it was good to, you know, be around people who think the same way. And they were so sweet. Yeah, super sweet. So we exchanged numbers, and you know, they were like, they really took me under my wing. So it makes me think like, hey, is this the universe, you know, helping me out, because I'm like switching things around. So I think that was meant to be. Yeah, because we really had like conversations about, you know, life. Super motivating, you know. So this was just showing me like, really spend time at places where you can find the energy that you want to be around. And that's my lesson of today. Yeah. So nice new adventures. So yeah, I just went there by myself, and it was so weird because usually I used to, and still, you know, I just do things all by myself, you know. But for this thing, you know, trying to, you know, make new connections with people, you know, it felt a bit scary. But, you know, I made the move. I just decided to dress up just to go in the train and just to see. And it showed me, you know, the universe has my back. My angels have my back. So I'll be fine eventually, you know. It's just like taking the first step and just like keep on going, you know. Yeah, so yeah, this was the vlog. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, so I'm gonna end this. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you next week, or till next week. Don't forget to like the video. Do subscribe, to leave a comment in the YouTube comments below, and thank you for watching. The shimmer is still on.